What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and Spurs have advanced into the fourth round of the FA Cup to face Aston Villa, and we beat Tamworth by 3-0 yesterday. We're going to start off with the match review, and just about got through by the skin of our teeth. It was 3-0, so I think it sounds a lot more convincing than it was. A lot more stronger lineup, wasn't it, than maybe we anticipated. Maybe we thought Dorrington would play, Jan Min-hyuk, and these kind of players. Mikey Moore did get his first appearance in a while, and Tamworth started at a million miles per hour, didn't they? They really stuck it on us in the first opening 5 to 10 minutes. They were getting down our side with the winger from Zara on the left-hand side. I thought he got into good positions, didn't he? Pedro Porro was coming under pressure, and they were having chances. Kinski was forced into a save literally in the first minute.
Yeah, I think other than that, I don't remember too many other chances they had, but they were up for it. It's their big day, obviously. This is basically one of the biggest days in the club's history, and obviously
I would say
maybe the biggest day in the club's history, and they were absolutely played out their skin. And you've got to give a lot of credit to Tamworth, because this is a team of part-timers. This is a team that last season weren't even in the National League. They got promoted, and they had, as you say, a player who's a shop assistant at Zara on the left wing. They had a surveyor in goal. They had a financial advisors playing as well. So this is a team that only train 2 or 3 times a week, and up against a team full of internationals, full of experienced players, full of multi-million-pound Premier League footballers. And they really did give Tottenham a tough ride, and Tottenham really struggled, especially to break Tamworth down. They really struggled to create chances. I thought Tamworth defended amazingly. They were very organised, and Spurs, from their point, they clearly, I don't want to make excuses, but definitely the pitch, you could see, was bobbling all over the place. They was definitely having struggles with it, but we didn't really adapt to the situation. We just struggled to really get any patterns of play going. We struggled to really show the quality. The only one, especially in the first half, was really Maddison and Basuma, that were trying to show they were Premier League footballers above the level of their opposition. I think the other players kind of struggled to adapt, especially in that first half, to the situation. I mean, apart from Maddison, had a couple of efforts. I don't remember too many chances we had in that first half, which is very, very... It's quite pathetic, to be honest, when you're playing a bunch of part-timers. You should be having fun with them. You should be toying with them. It should be easy. Not to say that... not to take anything away from Tamworth, because they were brilliant. I thought, as you said, Noru down that left-hand side was, really at times giving Pedro Porro a tough time on with his running at direct style at him, and he did force Kinski into an early save. Obviously, every time they got a throw-in or a free kick, just launched it into the penalty box. Kinski had to deal with a lot of those situations, and I thought he dealt with them really well, to be fair.
Throw-ins, one of them went all the way and hit the post.
Yeah, hit the back post. Incredible. Tommy Tonks, what a name. And
classic non-league name, man, Tommy Tonks.
And he was... his throw-ins were really was really strong, and that was something that we had to deal with. And obviously, it's a small pitch, and the 3G and all those circumstances of Tamworth, on their home soil. I think kind of even the playing field on the day, especially I would say in that first half, and Tottenham really struggled with it. Obviously, you always got a sense that it would be fine in the end, but. There were definitely times, I guess, when we get into the second half, there were definitely times where that was under threat for sure, like in the last minute. But first half, we just never really got going at all. We never got any passing rhythm going. Every time Tamworth got the ball, they were just launching it forward, long balls. And definitely that pitch was something that we were struggling to adapt to. I think that was clear, because every pass was under hit, every pass was bobbling, and we just never got any passing rhythm going. But when you're a professional team, you should be able to adapt to that.
The reality is, Archie Gray said it after the game, didn't he? He's like, all of us have played on pitches like this. All of us have had our learning, and when we were younger, played quite regularly on pitches like this. So, I mean, it's not really an excuse when they're multi-million-pound professional footballers in the Premier League. Like, they should be able to play on any pitch, and be able to adapt to the situation. I thought the passing on show, particularly in the first half. I mean, we couldn't get to a man in blue. I mean, Archie Gray kept passing it out of the pitch, particularly in the first 20 minutes. I thought Pape Sarr on the ball was really poor as well. And yeah, you're right. It was literally only Maddison that was looking to take a man on, looking to have a shot, and we couldn't break them down for love nor money. The chances that we were getting, the shots that we were getting on goal were all from like 25, 30 yards out, all from James Maddison. Second half comes, and I thought maybe some changes were in need at half time. They didn't come, and Mikey Moore kind of came alive, didn't he, in the opening 25 minutes of the second half. He was really taking his man on down that left-hand side, putting balls in the box. There was one for Timo Werner with that header at the back stick where, Timo goes across the face of goal, and it was a goal line clearance. And there was a lovely ball from Brendan Johnson, wasn't there, that played Timo Werner through on goal, and Timo one-on-one. Against a non-league keeper, you've got to be scoring that.
Of course, and just classic how it was going for us on the day. All our best chances obviously fell to Werner, and with his confidence in front of goal, at the moment he just couldn't put it in the back of the net. Albeit I thought the header was actually a good finish. Unfortunately, it was off the line. But obviously, when you're one-on-one, he's got time to pick his spot or round the keeper or dink it over the keeper, and he's still unable to finish. And that obviously adds on to a plethora of just really bad misses he's had this season, especially for us. So carries on that kind of form. And as I said before the game, the only real reason I could see Ange going for Werner ahead of Lancashire from the start is because maybe he feels like if he can put Werner up front and get him a couple of goals and boost his confidence, maybe that could turn his mood. And I think the opposite happened. Obviously, he struggled. He missed more big chances, even against a non-league side. And probably his confidence is lower than ever because he got taken off on what was it at the end, or was 70 minutes?
Werner got taken off at the end of the game.
At the end of the game, didn't last for extra time, and I think this carries on a run of just really abject, poor, confidence-sapping performances from Timo Werner, and especially when you're getting chances against a non-league team. It's just ridiculous that even on that occasion he still can't put them away. That just goes to show how low his confidence is at the moment, I think. And I think the most damning thing is when he went through, like, no one was really confident he was going to score, and that's just where he's at the moment, Timo Werner. And look, the reality is, the longer that game went on, the more nervous we were getting, because you just know that. I think the players probably start to realise that the longer this game went on, if Tamworth were to get a bit of luck and just get a goal from somewhere, the stories, the headlines, the moment that would have been if we would have went on to lose that game would have gone down in FA Cup history as probably one of, if not the biggest shock in FA Cup history. Only twice in FA Cup history has a non-league team beaten a Premier League team, and one of them was Lincoln against Burnley, was a few years ago. And the other one was Norwich and Luton, but I don't know how long ago that was.
None of them, a top six side or anything like that. So
I think Burnley got relegated that year.
The story was there to be written, right? And Tamworth was so close to sealing that with a bit of a better finish right at the end. They're winning that game 1-0.
But they were growing in confidence through the game. They had that centre back.
We were hanging on at the end.
They were that centre back doing a pirouette up against. I can't remember who it was, but he did a pirouette in the middle when he's being pressed. I think it was by Maddison and I think Johnson. He does like literally a Zidane-esque pirouette in the middle. And he said after the game, "I've never done that before. I don't know what came over me." He said, "I'm never going to do that again." But I just felt it in the moment. I was like, okay, bloody hell, they're really feeling it. And clearly they'll probably outperforming themselves and playing out their skin. And as you said, as the minutes went on and the game ticked on, we were getting more and more nervous. I think Porro, the stat on the day, he lost the ball 45 times, which is a ridiculous amount for a game. He's losing the ball once every other minute, which is a pretty ridiculous stat. And you could see in the game he was just lumping it forward. I think he was getting a bit nervous about the situation. Every time he got the ball, he was just lumping it. There was no sense of keeping playing our football. We were just lumping it forward all the time, and. Yeah, then we had that moment in it was literally the 96th minute, right at the end of the game. They get a free kick on the halfway line. They launch it in. The ball then has a bit of a pinball around in the penalty box. I think they have a shot blocked by Basuma. It falls to their centre back, and we are just so lucky he scuffs his finish. And
I think it was from. Oh, you're talking about that one. Oh, it was from. Wasn't it from the corner? Because the guy was in the corner and he sold Dragoshin down the river, and then he took a shot and Kinski saved it, and then from that corner they get that big chance.
maybe the corner came from the long free kick then. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, they had that chance right.
He like literally dragged it past Dragoshin, no pun intended. Like he wasn't there.
Well, that was that moment where I thought Solanke was definitely fouled, and the referee didn't give it, and then they got the corner from that. That was it, wasn't it? And he had a shot on the near post, and it was blocked by Basuma. And then the corner comes in. There was a bit of pinball. Basuma blocks one of the efforts, and then it falls to their centre back, I think it is, and he just scuffs it, and it's actually had such a good chance. And if he gets good connection, you know, it would have gone through everyone and gone into the corner. Luckily, he scuffed it. Kinski was able to hang on to it, and that's how close we were to getting knocked out by Tamworth, which is quite ridiculous, to be honest, how we were that close. And that should never be the case when you're playing against part-time footballers. You should never have left it that close to going out. It was ridiculous, to be honest, that it was so tight.
That 90 minutes of football was embarrassing. Playing against that level of opposition, you look at the other teams who they've played in the FA Cup this weekend. You look at Man City, they played Salford, I think they're League 2, 8-0. You're looking at Liverpool, who played Accrington Stanley, who are above National League level, I believe, and they won 4 or 5-0. So you're looking at how easy teams are dispatching of like the lower leagues. And then we play Tamworth, who were the lowest ranked team in the competition, and we had to go to extra time, and we could have easily lost it. It was an embarrassing 90 minutes.
I do think it would have been different at home, but obviously there's no excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course it would have been different at home, but it's still like you cannot go to extra time with this kind of opposition. You've got to be putting them away in 90 minutes. You have to be putting them away in 90 minutes. And Timo Werner, I'm telling you, that the guy that they had on the left wing, that's part-time worker at Zara, looked a lot better than Timo Werner on the day. He really did. At least he was able to take on a man and have shots on goal and provide a bit of quality for the team. Timo, I thought Timo, every time the ball was coming to him, apart from a couple of times, the ball was bouncing off him. He couldn't control it. He looked like a National League standard player yesterday.
I just don't understand why he didn't give Lancashire a go. It didn't make sense because we know how Tamworth are going to set up. We know that they're going to be very, very deep and try and frustrate Tottenham, and there's not going to be any space for someone like Timo. So I don't understand the logic in playing him up front when Lancashire's sitting right there, and if Lancashire's not working, you bring on Solanke, and we obviously had to turn to Solanke on the 65-minute mark, or on the hour mark. But I just don't understand the logic in starting Timo. I think that was one of the big decisions he got wrong. And I didn't have a massive problem with the lineup, but because look, if you're going to go strong, fair enough, try and get the game won. Obviously, it didn't work, but the one issue I did have was why start Timo up front. I understand if you're going to start him on the left because you don't think Mikey Moore's ready, but you decided to give Mikey more minutes. So I don't understand why start Timo up front. It didn't make sense to me.
I don't even start not playing Yang Min Hyuk. He's just come to the club. This is the perfect game to give him minutes in. So look, we went strong and we just about got over the line in extra time. And Brennan Johnson, I thought again, like he put in a pretty anonymous display. Apart from a few moments of quality, that ball to Timo Werner was class, and the finish as well in the second half in the extra time was class as well. So
and he made the own goal as well.
He made the own goal as well. So you're talking about. We keep talking about Brennan Johnson in this light, don't we? Like he doesn't seem to do anything for the majority of the game, but he pulls up moments of quality.
That's what I keep saying about him. I've been consistent about Brendan. He's not the best player in the world. He's not the best winger in the world, and he'll frustrate you. But he's effective because he'll come up with something. It's not even moments of magic because it's not like he'll just come up. He'll just pick the ball up and like shoot it from 30 yards like Bale. It's not that kind of thing. But he'll just he's never like out of the game in a sense that he can always put in a deadly cross, or he can always come up with a finish in a good position. He always keeps going, always tries to get in those positions. And look, by and large, this season, as has been shown, he does tend to come up with something more often with that. And he's our top goal scorer in all competitions. He's starting in recent weeks to get a few more assists as well. So he's an effective player. Yes, he probably shouldn't be our starting right winger, but is he good enough to be a squad player? And is he a player who, when you need him to, can he come up with just a moment where he can get the ball in the back of the net or set up a goal? I think he's shown he can. And as you said yesterday, he didn't have a good game at all, but he still came up with 3 moments.
He should be on our bench. That's the reality.
Which were decisive. He can be a decisive player, whether it be getting in that back post, whether it be shooting the ball across the face of goal with a clinical finish, whether it be a cross along the ground from the right wing. Those are things he's very good at, and he can be good at very consistently. And you've got to remember, he's still, 22, 20... Is he 22 or 23 now? He's still fairly young, so he's still got a lot of room to grow. But I understand the frustrations people have with him, and I understand he annoys a lot of fans because there are times you look at me like this guy just lacks so much quality. And sometimes, we give the ball out to him and he's just really careless with it and he gives the ball away. And sometimes he looks like he's lacking a bit of technical ability. But at the end of the day, he is an effective player in that final third. And as long as he's doing that, Ange will keep picking him.
Yeah, but the reality is we do need better on that right wing to provide competition for him. That is the reality.
I think if we had another one, I don't think Decky would be playing there so much. I think he's only playing there because he knows that Brennan's limited and we need another option there.
Yeah, and also he's the only one that we have, so he has to keep. You can't overplay and play him every game week in, week out.
Obviously, I think Odebear would have got more time.
Odebear as well, yeah. But, we're not going to see him till at least February. One player I thought that kept up his standards for pretty much the whole time he was on the pitch was Yves Bissouma. He was the one that really controlled that midfield. He kept snatching at the balls and he kept, retaining possession and driving us forward, albeit it didn't come to much for the 90 minutes. But he was one that really did keep up his standards.
He was the one who kind of seemed to have that bit of arrogance about him where he's like, I'm a Premier League player, I'm just going to bully you every time, I'm going to get to the ball before you every time, I'm going to take you on every time because I know I'm better than you. He seemed to have that kind of air of
he had such dominance in the middle of the park.
It seemed as though the other players I don't know whether something in their head was like, if this goes wrong, and they were looking at the headlines in their head while the game was going on. But Bissouma just had that confidence about him where he just wasn't worried about the situation at all, and he dominated in that middle. And every time he came up against a one-on-one duel with Tamworth play, he was coming out on top. But look, I don't want to. This isn't to say like he shouldn't be doing that, because of course he should. They're a National League side, but the reality is he was one of the only ones who was doing that. So credit to him, but he shouldn't have been the only one, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a mentality issue within the squad, because I feel like I've said it time and time again. I said it after the game yesterday that these players, when they play against the bigger teams, the Liverpools, the Manchester Uniteds, the Man Cities, even the Arsenals to a certain extent, they perform more times than not. I know we just got battered 6-3 by Liverpool, but we just beat them 1-0 last week in a really good performance, and we can perform on a regularity against these teams. But when we come up against a so-called lesser opposition, we just don't put in the same sort of performance levels, and this has been happening throughout the season, and it happened quite a bit last season as well.
Yeah, and that needs to change, and that's what gets you to being a really good team, when you're beating all these teams consistently and you have the same mentality going into every game. And that's something that Ange needs to fix. And being taken to extra time against Tamworth is probably a new low for this team, and that's something that I'm sure, even though Ange after the game was quite, didn't show any frustration or anger, or was like, what, the objective was to get through the next round and that's what we're doing. I'm sure after the game he'll be talking to some of these players and saying like, what the hell happened out there, like why were you not able to show any sort of quality on the ball like you have done for for a lot of other games this season you have. So I'm sure he put on a bit of a braver face for the cameras. But the reality is it did finish 3-0, and we obviously took it away from them in extra time, and we ended up it was comfortable in the end. But it shouldn't have needed to be that close, and that's quite concerning that it was so close, to be honest. But I always felt like, obviously, once we went to extra time, as I said before the game, the main difference between these sides is fitness and that ability to exert energy for longer periods. And I thought once it went to extra time, Val
did come on and make a bit of a difference. His confidence, he's playing with such confidence at the moment, Lucasberg. But I know it's against a Tamworth side, but again, he comes on and makes an impact. I thought Dom Solanke couldn't really get into the game.
Yeah,
when he
crashed. No data. Oh, we're back, I think.
Yeah,
I think we're back.
Sorry about that, guys. And Decky, basically Decky and Sonny really just swayed the game in our advantage, and Jed Spence as well. So I mean, it just never had to come to that, though. That's why I was so frustrated yesterday, because we gave these players a rest for a reason, because we've got a North London derby coming up midweek, and we're playing a National League side who are part-timers, the only part-timers in the National League. So we should have been able to just win the game with the players that we have and give these guys a much-needed rest, which with a big game coming up.
I completely agree. I don't disagree with that at all. We should have been outside. We should have been able to play a bunch of youngsters and still see the game through under those situations. So the fact that we made it such a struggle was not good enough, and it's a bit embarrassing. And But the reality is we still won the game. We still won 3-0. I know we needed the big guys to come on, and unfortunately we needed them. It wasn't as if they came on where we were already winning. We needed them to come on and provide that little bit of quality, it's very concerning that even against non-league teams, the quality that we had below them still wasn't good enough to even create a high level of chances or really put the game to bed before those big players came on. As long as we go far in this competition, if we go far, no one's going to remember how it started, and that's the reality. And as much as it on the day, and as we mull over this result and performance, it's not one we're going to want to remember, and it's one we're going to want to put to the back of our minds, and it's one that was a bad day for Tottenham, even though we won the game 3-0. But we win on Wednesday, we get a result on Wednesday, no one's going to remember this game. That's the reality, and we're through to the next round, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, but this is pre the Arsenal game and the day after the Tamworth game.
Yeah,
so
I said right now is the time to
fresh in the mind, and yeah, exactly. So, and that's exactly what we're doing. But when the changes happen, it takes for our own goal on the 100 of the scrappiest goals to put us 1-0 in the lead. I just couldn't celebrate that goal. Right, I just could not do it. It was embarrassing the way we go 1-0 up and how long it took.
For me, I was just relieved we got the goal. I didn't want it to go to penalties because all of a sudden it's a 50-50 at that point. So we got the goal. I was happy about it, and that's what we needed at that time because we'd embarrassed ourselves for long enough during that game. So the fact that we took the lead was a big relief for me. So look, your team scoring, whatever the situation, for me, you celebrate it.
And that's exactly how I thought it would go in terms of once we get one goal, I thought the floodgates would open. I was saying that pretty much throughout the whole 90 minutes. And it was that's what the game was missing, just that one chance that we can put in the back of the net. Because if we would have gone 1-0 up at any point in the 90 minutes, we would have scored a couple. And that's exactly what happened in extra time. Kulusevski's goal was really nice. Sonny, nice pass in behind the defender, and Kulusevski shifts to the right and slots it. And really did. And Brennan Johnson, really nice goal as well with his pass from Kulusevski. Well, kind of a pass from Kulusevski, and Brennan Johnson with a really nice finish.
Yeah, and at the end of it, it was fairly comfortable, and I don't think Tamworth ever had any opportunity after extra time, which you expect, as I said, because their fitness they're obviously waning. I thought they were waning a bit even near the end of the game, despite they had that chance right at the end. I thought that you could see they were starting to run on empty a bit, and once extra time came, it's probably gutting for them because last year they would have gotten a replay, and that replay would have been massive for them in terms of the money. And
I do feel for them in that sense.
Yeah, and this year went to extra time where they were never going to win in extra time. It was always going to go against them. That's the reality. With the fitness of Premier League players, it was never going to be. They were never going to have a chance in extra time to overcome that. So it's a shame for them, to be honest. And look, as I keep saying, they deserve so much credit because I thought they were brilliant. I really did. I thought they really, as much as Tottenham was so poor and were pretty pathetic, you got to give so much credit to Tamworth because they also had to play out their skin to keep it as it was, and they did. And they made it so difficult on the day. They were just awkward opponents. They were just lumping the ball in the box all the time. They were very, very organised, and credit to their manager because to do that with the level of training they got against a Premier League team is not easy, and they deserve all the credit, I think, Tamworth, and it's such a shame for them that it ended how it did, and it could have been an unbelievable story. And look, taking us to extra time is something those players will remember for the rest of their lives. 100%. It's that kind of moment. And I don't know if you saw on TikTok after the game, there was one of the Tamworth players who got a Bergvall shirt signed by all the players, and he was just absolutely buzzing. And fair play to them because they took a Premier League side to extra time. So, and this is a team who have day jobs. They're literally going to go back to their day jobs, and there's going to be players there like talking to customers saying, I kept Werner in my pocket yesterday. I went past Pedro Porro. They're going to be saying these things to to their customers as a player who plays part time. So they deserve so much credit for that. But we go through to the next round.
Yeah, we do, and it just. It was a bit of a culture shock probably to the players as well with the changing rooms. They were changing in. Do you see that walk that they did into the stadium as well, just crowded by players? Ange Postecoglou literally had fans literally in his ear pretty much all game. It was a sight to behold, and obviously it all encapsulated in that first minute. Well, not the first, just before the game when the net falls down, and then you got bloody Tamworth players getting on each other's shoulders to fix it. It's just like, what is going on here?
It was proper. This is what the FA Cup is all about. It's about ties.
Proper, roots level football.
Yeah,
grassroots.
That is what the FA Cup is all about. That's why we love the FA Cup, and it's a proper leveler in that sense. That's exactly how Ange put it, and I thought it was a real leveler. Just the pitch, the crowd, the stadium, the facilities, as you say, the players fixing the net before the game, the AstroTurf pitch, all these different things. It just seemed to level the playing field yesterday, and they gave us a real tough game, and that's why we all love the FA Cup, for those kind of occasions. And in a sense, it's brilliant for Tamworth that on the day they really made it, and they nearly made it an amazing story, because it would have been also a shame for them anyway if they would have been battered 5-6-7-0. Like it could have, we should really be beating a team like that, to be honest. But fair play to them. Will be, they didn't embarrass themselves whatsoever. They, in fact, quite the opposite. And it was a day that town and that team, those fans will remember for a long time.
In terms of the FA Cup, in the next round we did get Aston Villa away, which is a incredibly tough tie. I think one of 3 or 4 all Premier League ties. I think Brighton, Chelsea is another one.
And also, not only is there, I think there's 4 Premier League ties, but of the other ties of the Premier League teams, I think only one of them was drawn at home. So all of the other teams are away. So there could well be. I think there's only a maximum of 13 Premier League teams that can go into the next round. So already it's starting to whittle down a bit. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting tie. It's obviously in between a really, sandwiched in between 2 big games for us. Liverpool away in the Carabao Cup semi-final, and then the game against Manchester United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So going to have some player. We're going to need some players back to manage that week successfully. But I think it's a tie that is going to be obviously very hard, because Aston Villa are a very good side, but it's a winnable tie.
It's a winnable tie, but obviously the annoyance is Villa have a free week going into it, and we have obviously got probably what's likely to be an energy-sapping semi-final. Whether we win or lose, it's going to be, we're going to have to put everything into that semi-final to try and get through. Hopefully we got injured players back, and maybe we can rotate a bit. And we have, the last 2 games against Villa, we've got a good record, 4-1 and 4-0. So on that sense, we know we have the beating of Unai Emery's side. Even in the game they did beat us last year, we should have won that game as well. That probably had enough chances to win that game 4-2. So we definitely have the beating of them. But we know that probably the FA Cup is quite important for them as well this season. We know Unai Emery is also a good cup manager, and they've got that free weekend. And I think a fresh Villa side is also a different kind of prospect to when they've maybe played in midweek and they've had to use some of the same players. Their energy levels are a bit lower. So I think it's going to be extremely difficult. I think it's one where I'm confident we can give them a game. It just depends on the situation we're at the time, because I don't know what players we're going to have back. I don't know what signings we're going to have through the door. I don't know what form we're going to be on when we play them. So I think all that will come to a head. But it's an exciting tie. It's probably the tie of the round, and it's one I'm looking forward to. It should be a really good game, whatever happens. It should be a really good game. But right now, do we go into favourites? Probably not with the bookies, I would say. I think Villa will probably be favourites.
I think it'll be tight. I think it'll be very tight.
We could be favourites by the time it comes around. But
you look at it as well with the Liverpool game just 3 or 4 days beforehand. We don't know what day the Villa game is going to be on. Let's hope it's as late as possible.
Hope it's a Monday, but probably they'll put it on a Sunday, knowing the.
Yeah, they don't do us any favours at any point. But that Liverpool game could easily go to extra time. We are 1-0 up, and we're going to Anfield into the Lions' Den. So if they win the game by 1 goal, then it goes to extra time, because there's no away goals.
Those 3 days against Liverpool and Villa could either be, will be either on cloud 9 or in the trenches, probably.
Pretty much, yeah.
It could be incredible. If
we could be in a cup final games, and an FA Cup 5th round, or we could be in an FA Cup 5th round and no cup. I mean, look, first and foremost, let's get past this Liverpool game.
It's a massive 3 days.
Yeah.
Or 4 days, whatever it is. Massive for our season. That could really set up our season for what could be glory, or like nothing we all any of us expect. So it could be an incredible few days there. And also, 4 of our last 5 cup ties have been Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and now Aston Villa. So if we do anything in the cups this season, we've had to do it the hard way.
Yeah, especially at Tamworth away. But
enough, that was probably the one we performed the most, gave us the most difficulty.
Well, yeah, because that's the only one that we didn't win in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you have it. That is the match review. Spurs sneak past Tamworth at the Lamb Stadium or Lamb Ground in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. as we saw Arsenal go out to Manchester United on the same day, and all the Arsenal tears has been floating around social media, which we love to see.
That also helped us put that performance to the back of our minds, I think.
Definitely, definitely, because we turned it in, just we were waiting for the FA Cup draw, weren't we? And I think you saw on stream my mood go from down there to like up there as the stream progressed.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what was also great about that is the fact that they went to penalties and they had to use all that energy as well.
They had a few injury problems as well.
Yeah, and they were probably watching us thinking, oh, they've gone to extra time, they're using all that energy going into Wednesday, and then they had to go to extra time and they lost as well. So I think psychologically, when you have exert all that energy and you end up losing as well, I think that's it's a double blow. And as you say, Jesus looks like he's picked up a serious injury. I mean,
ACL, they're saying.
I don't never like to see a player pick up that serious an injury, but in terms of the context of Wednesday, that's a big blow for them. Calafiori was out with a muscle injury. I don't know if he's going to be fit. Looks like Timber went off with a tight hamstring. Is he going to be fit for Wednesday? So they lost. So a lot of problems for Arsenal as well going into that game. So definitely watching them struggle and lose in the end of the day was definitely a mood changer for sure.
All right, well, that is the match review. Spurs 3, Tamworth 0 away at Tamworth in the third round of the FA Cup. Let's move on to our player ratings. And just before we do that, a big up to our sponsors, Stocks FC. If you want to get your stocks, everyone values players in different ways. I want to see you guys put your money where your mouth is, but only money that you can afford and what is disposable income. It's not to make a second wage out of it or anything. It's just for fun.
If you rate your football knowledge, if you think you can predict who's going to rise in the stocks, if you think who's going to be doing well in the Premier League, and you're backing, something that other people don't, you think this player is going to have a turn in form, and you think their stocks are going to rise, then you can earn a bit of money on it. But it's only a bit of fun.
Yeah, and if you use our link, which is in the description below, and you sign up with our link, you get 5 free loan players. So it's completely free. And with these loan players, you get to keep the money if your stocks go up over the course of a month. So the loan players that we got were Jeremy Doku and Elijah Adebayo, who both actually have made a profit since we've got them in. You can see Jeremy Doku there, $1.23, and Elijah Adebayo, 25 cents as well. Another player that's moved in a positive direction for us since yesterday is James Maddison.
Had a positive performance maybe against Tamworth, so people are buying some stocks in James Maddison. I think he's had a pretty good season, a bit underrated season. So he's actually our top goal scorer at the moment in the Premier League. So people seem to be going up in James Maddison. A small profit there of 50 cents. We've got obviously we bought him at 5.85. And then, we got Kulusevski, got stocks in Kulusevski, Salah, Solanke, Son and Van de Ven. Obviously, Van de Ven down at the moment by 22%, but he's on the cusp of a return, so we're predicting those stocks might rise once he comes back.
And a recent one is Mohamed Salah, who we just invested in as well. Just to let you know, there are rewards that get given by Stocks FC for contributions on the pitch, like with goals, assists, and man of the match, and all the stuff like that. So we're predicting Mo Salah to get quite a few goal contributions and man the matches from around the end of the season. So hopefully we'll see some rewards come our way. But in terms of maybe potential pickups, I saw one that could be a good one in Ollie Watkins yesterday.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins is currently
0.42 cents for Ollie Watkins. It's not too bad.
42 cents, and I think he could rise because John Duran's obviously been in the team. Where is he? And I think where is he? Ollie? Why can't I see him? Watkins. John Duran's obviously been in the team, and I think Ollie Watkins has come in since his suspension and done quite well. So I think Watkins is not a bad shout, to be honest. Why is it not showing up? Here it is. Yeah. Watkins, 42 cents.
Anyone else you got your eye on?
Anyone else I got my eye on? I think looking at some West Ham forwards, because Graham Potter now in.
Well, you look at West Ham forwards. Fulkrug got a big injury yesterday. Antonio's out injured. Kudus. The only ones is Danny Ings.
Get Kudus, I think. I think Kudus might rise because I think they're going to be relying on him. I think we know that Graham Potter's an attacking manager, and so I could see him going on a bit of a run of form here.
Kudus, $1.65 for Kudus. He has currently been on a upward trajectory, but in the last recent times he's down 0.6%. So it could be a good one, to be fair.
I think he's one. I would put some stocks in Mohamed Kudus. Who else? Yeah, obviously, we've got some stocks in Solanke. Who's currently the biggest change at the moment? So the biggest rises we've got. So Josh De Silva's currently the biggest riser for Bournemouth. For Brentford, sorry. 195% rise. Why are people buying in Josh De Silva?
Josh De Silva, mate, he's a man on the move. He's a man on the move alongside Beto and Jeffrey Schlupp. Eberechi Eze as well. But yeah, those are the biggest movers. But yeah, look, put your money where your mouth is.
Yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. But put your money where your mouth is if you back your football knowledge, and we'll be keeping you up to date with our stocks as the months and the weeks progress. So like I said, link is in the description below for Stocks FC. Really fun to play, and there's money to be made as well.
There's a QR code on stream as well.
Yeah, well, there you have it. But let's get into our player ratings, and let's see what stocks are rising throughout the player ratings today. And we're going to start off with Antonin Kinski. 7s all round for Kinski. Another really assured display from him. I thought he commanded his box really well. It felt like anything that just came close to him, he just gobbled up for fun. Ball playing ability, it was a very different performance, wasn't it, than the one against Liverpool. I don't think his ball playing ability was on show too much, but what I really enjoyed about him was just how much he commanded his box and his handling.
Yeah, and that was really impressive on a day where it could have been awkward for him, especially if he wasn't confident and especially if he had any sort of hesitancy coming for those crosses. We saw their tactic was try and bully us in the middle, especially when you got people like Gray at the back who aerially, you fear for them, that they could be bullied. I thought Kinski just came for every corner, claimed it, and relieved the pressure off our defence every time. So really good stuff from Kinski.
And made some good saves as well to keep it at 0-0 at times. Pedro Porro up next. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 5. I thought he came under increasing pressure on that right wing. They got in quite a few times down his side. But I did feel like, as the game progressed, he shored up that side and, he was quite solid defensively by the end of it. His passing was really erratic and poor, but I marked him up a bit for that quick free kick that set us on our way.
Yeah, fair play. It was a clever free kick routine for the first goal, and that needed that little bit of quick thinking to open them up. But I thought on the day just was really poor. I thought Enoru was really giving him trouble down that side, to be honest, for a lot of that game, and you shouldn't be having that much trouble against. I know he was quick, don't get me wrong, but you just shouldn't be having that much trouble against a non-league winger, in my opinion, the level Porro's at. And I thought on the ball, he was just a bit all over the place. I thought he gave the ball away 45 times. It's an incredible amount. That must be some sort of record. 45 times. I can't remember a player giving the ball away so much. And I don't know whether it was conditions he struggled with, or he's just panicking a lot of the time, or what it was, but I just thought on the ball it was really poor from Porro. So I gave him a 3.
Next up is Archie Gray. 6s all round for Archie. I thought from a defensive capability he did really well. But yeah, it was just frustrating me in the early stages of the game. The opening 20 minutes, he just kept passing the ball out of play when we were looking to build up a head of steam and play out the back. But look, I thought all in all, he was one of the better performers on the day, so 6.
Yeah, I think he did well. I think it was, again, still had that composure. He did play the ball out of play a few times, but I think by and large, one of our more consistent players on the day, one that kept a bit of a calm head, and I thought he defended really well, so gave him a 6.
Radu Dragusin, Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 6. I don't think he was that bad. I thought defensively he stood up to the challenge that what most came his way, apart from right at the end where he got sold down the river, really, with that drag from, I don't know who the Tamworth player was, but really did get the better of him. But yeah, Tamworth didn't really have too many chances, and I thought Radu kept them at bay.
What really annoyed me about Radu was in that second half, he kept committing these stupid fouls and allowing Tamworth to relieve the pressure constantly. And not only did it allow them to relieve the pressure, it just gave them opportunities to pump the ball into the box. And I just thought he was needless. I know they had a big lump up front. I think it was like Creasy or something like that. And he kept trying to pin Radu. But Radu, I know he's young, but this guy's a big guy. He should be able to deal with a non-league centre forward more comfortably, and I thought he kind of just allowed them constantly to be relieving the pressure from this. I thought by and large he defended okay. It was just and also on the ball he wasn't particularly great, but I just thought those moments were actually really crucial in the game and breaking up the play for Tamworth, and it worked in their favour. And I thought he should be a lot smarter than that, like he was.
Sergio Reguilon at left back, 6-0 round for Sergio. I thought, again, kept up some sort of standards. I thought defensively he was pretty good on that side, and actually offensively as well. He had, 2 key passes on the day, and he created a big chance as well for Sergio Reguilon. So, look, definitely one. I'm happy that he played the whole 120 minutes, so we needed that to give some sort of I don't know who got the respite, but he needed to play, and maybe we're going to have to need him to use him as well in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I wasn't disappointed with Reguilon's display.
Yeah, standard display. Obviously, I thought he did better defensively than Porro on the ball. I mean, didn't do too much on the ball. He got to the byline a bit, didn't really have any quality about it. I thought it was just a standard display. Didn't do too much wrong, but nothing exceptional. But just made sure that we were okay on that side and not giving away anything stupid. So gave him a 6.
Biss gets an 8 from Sim and a 7 from me. Very dominant display against Tamworth. I thought he was gobbling everything up in the middle, winning all his duels aerially and on the floor, and he was driving the team forward as well with some successful dribbles through the heart of the Tamworth midfield. So yeah, Bissouma was probably our best player.
Yeah, and I thought he was the one who had a bit of confidence to show that he's a Premier League midfielder and he's going to dominate you, and that's exactly what he tried to do during the game. And I think it's exactly what he did, to be honest. And I thought he was confident on the ball, striding forward, breaking the lines, and I thought off the ball that whenever he went near him, he was gobbling it up, and I thought he was super confident. He won 15 of his 17 duels aerially and on the ground. So I think that goes to show how dominant he was. He did make 5 tackles. So look, he put in a lot of work. He put in a big shift. Also completed 6 of his 6 long passes as well. So on the ball, he was pretty good. 2 out of 2 dribbles. So I think on the day, a pretty good performance compared to a lot of his teammates.
Pape, Matas, Sars, we both give him a 4. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pape at the moment. Just he's not in a rich vein of form. It seems to be a carbon copy displays week in, week out from him at the moment, where he's putting in a lot of energy, but on the ball, he seems to be losing it more times than not. And you really thought, against a Tamworth midfield, he would really dominate it and potentially create chances for us as well, and it just didn't happen.
A bit of an anonymous display, to be honest. And against Tamworth, he shouldn't really be anonymous, but he seemed to find a way to do so. I thought off the ball he was okay, but I think on the ball, just again, a severe lack of quality. And after he started the season fairly poorly, he went on a run where it looked like he was really getting to his best, and now he's on a bit of a downturn. And maybe Bergval's ahead of him at the moment. Maybe that's why Bergval was on the bench and he started. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does on Wednesday. But yeah, it wasn't a great game from him, I thought. James
Maddison, 6 all round for Madders. I felt with Madders, he was the only one in the first half looking to push the issue, looking to take shots, looking to be creative as well. And I thought he was the only spark that we had, particularly in the first half. Second half wasn't as strong as it was in the first. But yeah, he was aggressive in the middle of the park, winning his duels as well. So yeah, one of the only ones that can kind of say, I had a go.
Yeah, he definitely faded in that second half, for sure. So that was a bit disappointing. But I thought in the first half, for the first 50 minutes or so, he was the only one who had a real bit of quality and actually seemed a level above the opposition. And seemed every time
nutmegs and all.
Yeah, taking shots, nutmegs, a little bit of creativity in the box. So look, that chop he does in the box, and he probably should have scored that moment. He had a bit of one-on-one battle with Singh. I think he had 3 shots on target, which Singh was equal to at the end. But he was one providing any real quality. But yeah, he faded badly in the second half and then got taken off, didn't he, on 70? So didn't really go to plan as it should have really for Madders. Should have come up with something more.
Yeah, Brennan Johnson up next. Sim gives him a 4. I gave him a 6. And look, I thought Brennan, on a whole, his performance was really poor. I'm not going to lie. But I've marked him up a bit because the moments of quality that we did show in the game, the chances that were created and the goals that we scored, he seemed to be involved in it all with that lovely ball through the middle of the park to Timo Werner to play him one-on-one. That should have been 1-0 to Spurs. And then in extra time, he gets a goal with a lovely finish and had his hand in one of the other goals as well. So, yeah, look, poor performance, but showed moments of quality.
Yeah, I think when it comes to his 90-minute performance, apart from that one pass to Werner, which was a great ball, fair play, you're looking at a 2 or something. So I was really frustrated with him in that 90-minute performance. He did obviously up his game in the extra time and with the extra fitness, and we've obviously got a brilliant goal, and he did set up the opening goal as well with some quick thinking from Porro. So we get a few marks for that, for his extra time performance, but I ended up on a 4 because I thought I just thought over the 90-minute display, he was just so bad, and he just wasn't able to get any spare change out of their left back, and that's just not good enough. And I thought really struggled on the ball to kind of take him on. How can you have no confidence to take on your fullback when you're playing a non-league side? It just baffles me. So I ended up giving you a 4.
Mikey Moore up next. 6s all round for Mikey. I felt like he took a while to get into the game. No football in a long time for Mikey, so it's kind of expected. But once the second half came, he was the one that really was pushing the issue out on that left-hand side. He was taking on his man. He provided a brilliant cross to the back stick for Timo Werner. And it was about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then he kind of tied out in the game.
Yeah, and even Mikey Moore had confidence to take on his fullback, which I thought Brennan didn't. He definitely looked a bit rusty at the start, but I think once he got into the game, there was a moment in the second half. I know he was only on for 15 minutes, but there was a moment where every time he got the ball, he was creating something and making something happen. He got that brilliant ball to Werner on the far side, who had a clear off the line. It was a brilliant cross. I think it was outside of the boot cross as well from Mikey Moore. And once he beat his man once, he just had that. You saw that confidence flowing through him, where he was just going at them again and again, and they really struggled to handle him. And unfortunately, kind of went. I know it was pre-planned to take him off at that kind of time, but unfortunately, it was at his best moment in the game. They took him off when he was really getting into full flight. So that's a shame for him. But I thought he had a really strong showing for those 15 minutes, and that moment that could have taken it away from Tamworth, but unfortunately he had to come off.
Yeah, let's hope he gets some minutes at the Emirates, because with that kind of minutes in his legs, and with the amount of football that he's had over the past month or so, maybe he can come chomping at the bit at the Emirates, maybe off the bench. Timo Werner started up front, quite surprisingly to all of us. Sim gives him a 2, I gave him a 3. Just not at the races, Timo. Every time he got the ball, his control was completely off it, got outshone by the Tamworth players. Goes one-on-one with a brilliant ball from Brennan Johnson, and completely fluffed his lines, and was a poor finish. The only bit of quality that we saw from Timo Werner was the header at the back stick, where it was actually a really good header, and it was saved off the line.
Yeah, I feel for him in that moment, because that was a good finish, and unfortunately it did get cleared off the line. But other than that, his job was to get on the end of things, and unfortunately his finishing just wasn't up to scratch, as it usually has been for Timo Werner. And in general play, he just offers so little, and I thought again he offered very little in this game. Just again a lack of quality in that final third. And I know it wasn't a game for Timo Werner in terms of tactically, but still, you're a German international, you're playing against part-time footballers. Like, you should be able to get some sort of advantage against them and show some sort of quality, and he just wasn't able to do it at all. His confidence is at an all-time low. Obviously the header was a good finish, but the one we went through one-on-one, no composure whatsoever, and obviously the keeper saved it. Those were the only 2 moments he really had. Once he moved to the left wing, didn't really provide anything on the left wing in terms of chance creation. Just poor from Timo.
Lucas Bergvall, who came on with about 25 minutes to go. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I thought he added quality. I thought he added energy. He came on and suddenly we started having a few more shots, albeit none of quality, but he was having shots and having a go. But I just think he adds an extra positive energy to the team.
Yeah, definitely quickened up our play, added a bit more sharpness and crispness to it, and added that bit of energy that we needed at the time. We seemed to be flagging. I do wonder whether if he was out the first team in this, out the starting 11, I should say, because he was resting him for the North London derby. It'll be very interesting to see, because look, if he can compete against Newcastle's midfield and Liverpool's midfield like he has done the last 2 games, why can't he against Arsenal's midfield? So it'll be very interesting to see what Ange does come Wednesday with him, and it's a very exciting prospect. I thought another good cameo. I think ever since he came on, I think, was it even before the Southampton game, I think it was the Rangers game, he came off the bench. Ever since that game, I'll tell you when it was the Bournemouth game. He came off the bench against Bournemouth when we were really struggling, and added a bit of composure and calmness. Ever since then, every performance has been really good from him. So he's going from strength to strength. Yeah,
he's flying at the moment, Lucas Bergvall, and he has to start at the Emirates. He just has to. Dom Solanke as well came on at the same time. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 4. It was just a really uncharacteristic performance from Solanke. I thought he got dominated. He just couldn't get into the game. His touch was all off. I don't know what was going on with Solanke, but he struggled in this one.
Yeah, it was really odd. I thought the ball was bouncing off him too much. I don't know whether he was struggling with the conditions, but I don't think the service helped him. I thought a lot of the passes into him was really poor, and I thought they were he was struggling to get the ball under control at the time. Obviously, he did kind of force the ball over the line a bit with the own goal. His presence obviously made the Tamworth defender panic. But I think by and large, whenever he was competing with the centre-backs of Tamworth, he was coming out second best, which was really, really odd. So wasn't a great cameo from him.
Son Heung-min, Sim gives him a 6, I gave him a 7, came on for extra time. Such a shame we had to use him because he could do with the rest probably more than anyone. And look, I did think he added quality, he added a lot more than what Werner was showing out on that left-hand side after Solanke came on. He got an assist with a lovely pass to Dejan Kulusevski, and I just felt he added, again, a bit like Lucas Bergvall, just an extra energy out on that left-hand side, and I felt the Tamworth players found it really hard to deal with him.
Yeah, definitely added quality, got a nice assist for Decky. And not too much else to say about it. I think obviously they were tiring by the time he came on, so it was a bit easier for him to kind of move them around and beat players and create opportunities and openings. I think he'll be even disappointed that he maybe didn't do more than just get one assist once he came off the bench, but I thought it was a good cameo from Sonny and helped see out the game.
Dejan Kulusevski, 7s all round for Decky. He came on again, a bit like what you say for Bergvall. I thought he came on and really started to quicken the play up and play a bit faster. And yeah, like they just couldn't handle Decky with the physicality that he was showing with the tiring legs that they had. Gets a goal with a brilliant finish and gets assist as well. So once again, Decky saves our blushes.
Yeah, needed that little bit of quality, and you saw the quality really increase once he came on. Lovely finish with the ball across the face of goal into the side netting, and that little assist, just winning the ball high up the pitch, nicking it on the edge of the box, and Brennan finishing it confidently. So nice bit of nice cameo from Decky, goal and assist, and easy as you like. He made it seem easy when he came on.
Yeah, he did. And last but not least, in terms of the playing personnel, was Jed Spence. We're not going to rate Jed Spence. All right, we're not rating Jed Spence. We're going to go straight into Ange.
He did all right, Spence. We can talk about him. He did fine. I think he
involved in one of the goals.
Was he? Which goal was that? Was that
the third goal, wasn't it?
I thought actually he did quite well coming off for Dragoshin. I hope that Dragoshin's not injured or anything, but we did see him kind of hurt his ankle, didn't he?
Well, he was strapped up before the game, wasn't he?
Strapped up before the game, and then he kind of got someone fell on his ankle during the game, and he seemed to be uncomfortable. So let's hope it's not an injury or anything for him. But not the first time he's gone off in recent weeks. Obviously, Jed Spence came on, I thought did really well at centre-back and was a bit more confident, and he almost was like a full-back at times, the way he was flying forward. So
yeah.
Seemed to forget he was a centre-back at times. But yeah, good cameo from him.
Ange Postecoglou, 6s all round for Big Ange. Went relatively strong in this game, which was much to all of our surprise. And we struggled. We struggled for 90 minutes. He did make changes to impact the game, which I don't think takes a master tactician to do against a tiring Tamworth legs. But, you can only beat what's put in front of you. And we struggled to do that for 90 minutes. But we got there in the end. We got the 3-0 win. He doesn't cover himself in much glory, but we got there.
Yeah, I think... I don't think it was a brilliant managerial performance. I think he managed the game fine. He made subs when we needed them. I think big mistake not starting Lancashire. In my opinion, should have given him a start in this one. Bit perplexing why we didn't get Yan Min-hyuk in the squad at all, but I'm not going to mark him down for it if he doesn't feel like he's ready. And maybe the 3G pitch, he didn't want him to play on it, but would have liked to have seen him considering he was on the bench against Liverpool. Obviously, the changes did make all the difference, and we won the game, but shouldn't have been that close in the first point. But look, in terms of the strength of the team, you can't blame him. Like, he went stronger than most of us could have thought he would, and that's because he maybe feared the prospect ahead, and so it turned out because it was a lot harder than we should have been.
Yeah, but it's also up to him to get his players up for these kind of games, and he failed to do that.
Yeah, and he takes responsibility for it. At the end of the day, we did win 3-0. We didn't lose. We won the game. But
we had to go extra time.
But we did have to go extra time, but it was still 3-0. And that was the result. That's what the records will show. And I did think in extra time was very comfortable. So that's that. But obviously it wasn't a good performance at all. It should never have gone to extra time. And that's really disappointing. But we are in the next round. We did win the game comfortably in the end. So is what it is. No one's going to remember it if we go far in this tournament. That's what we've got to do.
That was probably the least comfortable 3-0 win I've ever had to endure.
Yeah,
seriously. So, wasn't exactly a comfortable 3-0 win, but we did win it 3-0. But that is our player ratings for the Tamworth game. Let's move on and see how the internet did react to the game. Starting off with Spurs pictures that go hard. This was Ange Postecoglou just surrounded by cameramen on the sidelines there.
Yeah, I love it. And again, it's another example of the circumstances of the pitch. You look how close everyone is to the pitch, and Ange after the game was doing a press conference on the pitch because there's no press conference room or anything, and that's just the difference between the facilities and everything. But so that's a great picture there, and definitely would have gone hard if we would have gone out. So thankfully we didn't. But yeah, I think Ange was loving it yesterday.
Yeah, he was. Jazz Singh, who was the goalkeeper for Tamworth yesterday, sent a tweet to Ahmad saying, appreciate the tweet, absolute gent. I think all our boys appreciated the time and effort you made with them. And if you click into the tweet, you'll see Madison obviously posted to him saying congratulations, top performance as well to go with it, as he gave birth to a child the same weekend. Well, his wife gave birth to a child the same weekend as he played against Tottenham. So it's a great weekend for him.
Fantastic. And really imagine, becoming a father and then putting in that performance against Spurs the day later. So absolutely brilliant. And as well, the Tamworth manager was very complimentary of Tottenham and the players and the staff after the game, saying how they're a class act and they're really good. They really respected the club and the facilities, and they can't say a bad word about them. So fair play to Spurs. They seem to really do well on that aspect off the pitch anyway when it comes to respecting Tamworth.
Yeah. And talking about the facilities that Tottenham were respecting, this was the changing room that Tottenham were training in. Well, we're getting changed in before the game, which is quite unbelievable. A bit of a far cry from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, man, you can see their Dragshin getting a bit of strapping on that ankle, which did seem to hurt during the game. This is before the game, obviously, but yeah, very, very different, isn't it? That change room to what they're used to. So a bit of a departure, but yeah, that's what you got to deal with on these occasions.
Next up is Daniel Levy, looking very much like what's his name from Home Alone?
Yeah, one of the burglars. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's ironic because he's a bit of a thief, isn't he?
Exactly, bloody Daniel Levy. Billy says this is what the real beauty of the FA Cup is, and just look at the difference between the team bus for Tottenham and the team bus for Tamworth.
Fantastic.
Incredible, isn't it?
CR Motor it's absolutely fantastic. Do you reckon one of the Tamworth players, like on their day job, they've rented a van for the team or something?
Probably.
Absolutely brilliant. That is fantastic. That's like what I used to go up in when we used to play on Sunday League. Incredible.
Next up is look at this fan just watching from his bedroom window overlooking the stadium.
What a seat.
Best seat in the house.
Fantastic. I love that. Absolutely love that.
Next up is some quotes from Harry Kane on Son Heung-min, and he says, I got on incredibly well with Heung-min Son. I also think he's one of the most underrated players in the top leagues. We've always had such good, very technical relationship, but it took on another dimension when Jose Mourinho came to Spurs. Before the roles were more established, I was the number 9, Son was on the left. We already understood each other very well in the game, but under Jose, we formed more of an attacking duo, and there we created an almost telepathic connection with much more changing roles. One time I was up front, the other time I was dropping back to set him up, finding such connection again. I think it's possible because I understand the game even better today, so I connect even more easily, but we can already see a glimpse of that at Bayern Munich with Jamal Musiala, for example. But I mean, yeah, that relationship with him at them two under Jose, I mean, that game against Southampton just says it all, doesn't it?
All the facts speak for themselves. They're the top scoring partnership in Premier League history, and you don't get to that if you don't have the kind of relationship they did. So obviously they played together for a very long time, but as well, that season is when it really exploded, that relationship, and it went from strength to strength. So phenomenal. Obviously Kane helped him get the Golden Boot. Son helped him get that season where he got the Golden Boot and Playmaker of the Year as well. So they really helped each other. It's just a shame they didn't have anything to show for it at the end.
Yeah. StatMuse give us Sonny's stats in the FA Cup: 24 starts, 26 golden assists.
Wow.
They kind of leave out the bench appearances there, because I imagine there'll be quite a few in the FA Cup.
Maybe. Obviously, he came off the bench yesterday, but still quite 26 golden assists though. It's still quite good.
Yeah, it is very good.
He was so good in the FA Cup.
Well, now you know. Next up is this is the moment that we were talking about before, about the Tamworth players fixing the net that fell down just before kickoff.
Yeah, a bit of tape, sorting out the net.
And I was looking at it and I was like, wow, I feel like that the top bar of the bar was about to break, like about to snap. Look how low it goes.
Absolutely phenomenal. And that's the guy for the guy from Zara as well doing it, and he goes from going on the keeper's shoulders to fix the net to then
rinsing Pedro Porro,
and forcing the save out of Kinski. It's just the magic of the cup.
Next up is Sonny with all the kids screaming at Sonny from Tamworth, which is a really nice picture.
It's an unbelievable moment for the town and the team, isn't it? Look at that. You can see how much it means to all of them. Incredible.
Ben Crompton, who played yesterday in the game, puts a picture of him and Sonny, and obviously I think they exchanged shirts yesterday as well, which is a nice touch from Sonny.
He probably just can't believe it, can he? He's facing him and Son in the FA Cup. It's an unbelievable moment, and look, Son's an international superstar, so there you go.
Yeah. Another one from Beck Ray. I think this is the guy that works in Zara. And
sales assistant.
The sales assistant. So he says, to the fans, thank you. The support was amazing. What a team performance from the first to last minute. Your favourite sales assistant.
Definitely. Need to go to Zara in Tamworth and see if he can sell me something.
Yeah.
I have to buy something.
What's this next one? This one is from Down to Hell saying, nah, Spurs fans always ignore Son and say Moore must be starting in the starting 11. Werner is better than Son, but the fact is when Son came in, the game was changed. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say Werner is better than Son.
No, that's just a false narrative. That's never been uttered ever by anyone, apart from, I don't even know.
No one.
Can't think of anyone who's
Maybe his mum.
No one has ever said Werner's better than Son.
This one from Abby says, he's too good, Sonny, was our game changer. And I do feel like him and Decky did really change the game.
Absolutely. And he added just that little bit of quality that was definitely missing throughout the game. But look, it was an extra time. They were tiring led, so there's circumstances to it. But definitely he helped change the game.
And Optus Sport show us the Spurs team walking in yesterday and...
intimidating atmosphere.
Yeah, they say Tottenham players had to face the gauntlet of arriving at the Lamb Ground, and the Tamworth fans absolutely gave it to them, singing, you're just a shit Ollie Watkins to Dom Solanke.
Bergval's loving it.
Yeah, Bergval is loving it. And Jed Spence just walking in as cool as he like.
The guys were shouting at him, at Bergval, saying, you should have been sent off the other day. It's too yellow, it's blatant. You should have been sent off. And he's just bursting out laughing. He's loving it. Fantastic. This
next one was brilliant as well. Ange making fun of the Tamworth fans running out of air from shouting wanker for too long. And Ange was just like, go, give me more, give me more, give me more.
He's like saying, breathe, calm down, and then you can go again. Because they're running out of air. They're like straining, shouting away. He's like, just breathe, just calm down, and you go again. Okay? Just calm down. Ange was loving it. He was in his element yesterday, Ange, absolutely. I think he really enjoyed yesterday.
Yeah.
Apart from the performance, obviously.
Yeah. Cam, THFC, says 2 consecutive clean sheets. What have we signed? Oh, my God.
Apparently, I was reading today, he's the first goalkeeper to keep 2 clean sheets in his first 2 games for Spurs in 100 years.
100 years?
100 years.
I wonder in how many of those 100 years is this second game coming against a non-league team, but...
Still, Liverpool's the first one.
Yeah, Liverpool was the first one, which was brilliant, but the second one is Tamworth.
Still, 100 years.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So fair play to Kinski. No one else has done that. And as well, apparently in all competitions, he's only 2 clean sheets behind Vicario, which is mad.
It's embarrassing, really. Hotspur reports, look at this picture. Ange Postecoglou will be getting some stick today, and that he definitely did.
It was brilliant. It was a brilliant day. The Tamworth fans, credit to them. Fair play. They're just giving their all, and they were very, very loud on the day and really supporting the team. And look, they dragged them to extra time. It's a fair play.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, I know it's a different stadium and stuff, but it does remind me of that picture of Arsene Wenger at Old Trafford when he was forced into the stands and he's sitting right behind all those fans. And but this is right on the touchline. It's different. It's quite funny.
And judging by the events of yesterday, it's only right to bring this one back. Arteta choke.
Oh, come on. Absolutely loving it.
Basically, effectively out of 2 competitions in the space of a week when it was supposed to be their year.
Loving it. So only there 2 left, but it could be another trophyless season for them, let's hope. And let's hope we put another dagger in on Wednesday.
Let's hope so. Domino's tweeted out saying, sorry if we've missed any orders tonight. We've just had this guy start.
Love it. Absolutely
Kai Havertz was embarrassing yesterday. Yeah, he put in a proper Timo Werner-esque performance.
Yeah, and he topped off and missing that penalty as well. It was just really wasn't his day. He just missed so many sitters.
He's been terrible the whole season,
for
really.
That penalty as well. Mate. It's just, get in the bin. Get in the bin.
SZY Comps just says Gaffer. That's the picture that we saw before. Simon Yemeni says, when life comes at you quick, and this is James, AFC James before the game says, another 30 minutes in Spurs' legs before the weekend. Good stuff. And then he says, one of the most embarrassing results we've had in a long time. Can't blame anyone but ourselves.
Another 30 minutes in those Arsenal legs. Absolutely lovely. Good stuff. Good stuff before the midweek.
And this was a tweet from Tamworth yesterday saying, things you love to see. And this is Williams and James Maddison embracing with a hug at the end of the game. And then Sonny as well with the manager and the Zara.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's the guy who scored the own goal.
The own goal guy.
That's the guy who scored the own goal guy. He's in our thumbnail.
Yeah, and that's it. That is how the internet
and
did.
Also the one more.
What, from Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, if you didn't expect this today, I'm guessing you wouldn't have supported Tottenham for a very long time. And that is completely right. Only Tottenham,
there's a few gone.
Only Tottenham can beat the team that is top of the Champions League group and top of the Premier League in one game during midweek, and then go and struggle against Tamworth on the weekend. Only Tottenham.
There's a few more. If you've got to scroll down to no context Tottenham, there's a good one.
No context Tottenham. Oh. That's where he should be. That's where he should be.
Absolutely. Timo tomorrow.
You know what? I would take right now a player swap. A player swap right now.
For Anoru. We'll have to get in contact with Zara. Maybe they can facilitate it.
Football Confidential after this says, love this. Tottenham's Archie Gray swaps his boots for a kid's scarf and is worried the kid might get in trouble for giving away the scarf. On and off the pitch, Archie just continues to impress. So proud to have him at Spurs. And I completely agree, mate. He is an absolute asset to the club.
He gave some great interviews after the game. No excuses, and he spoke so well. But look at that, giving his, apparently, one of the kids was asking, can I have one of your boots? And he's like, yeah, if we swap it for the scarf. And then he said, I'll take the scarf. And he's like, you sure? Maybe your parents will think you get cold or something. You sure you can give it to you? He's like, yeah, I want your boots, mate. He's like, I want the boots. He's like, all right. So he swapped it. And I think maybe he thought it was just a great memento for the day for him himself, Archie. So it was a lovely moment for him. And everyone is just loving him at the moment, isn't he, Archie Gray? I think he's taken to the club so well. He's such a mature young player, great head on his shoulders, and look, performance has been brilliant on top of that. So he's a real credit to himself, and I think everyone is really, really falling in love with him, I think.
At Pro Tottenham, Vicario saw that Kinski's performances and ran from the injury table to training like Forrest Gump. Literally, this is what it was like.
As soon as he saw Kinsey against Liverpool, he's like, I gotta get out of this boot. Gotta get out of this boot.
CFC Massey says, we'll never see another club like Tottenham, the funniest club the world has ever seen. And that's pretty much what I was saying before.
Every time. It doesn't matter who we got. It could be Tamworth. Literally, it could be Tamworth. And yet, we beat Liverpool one week and we still struggle the next. It doesn't matter who we play against. It's madness. Yeah. Absolute madness.
The 44 says, Tottenham are getting absolute piss taken out of them by a 32-year-old plumber from Tamworth. How's he doing this as last man? And how did he do that as a last man?
He's pirouetting like Zidane in the it's mad. He's impressed, and look at what he's doing. And it was so funny after the game. He was like, I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. It just something came over me, but I'm never going to do that again.
Return of the Shelf says, I honestly don't care about anything but progressing today. They got enough. They got through. If Timo, Madders and Johnson were more, or in some cases even slightly clinical, it would have been over much sooner. These ties are mad. The pitch took some getting used to. Mad surroundings, the fear of the upset. Players trying to conserve energy with an eye on Wednesday. It's all part of it, and it has an impact whether we like it or not. We know the issues. We know what players will and won't be around next season. Just need the result. They avoided the unthinkable. They got through. Many others didn't.
I think that's fair.
Many others didn't.
Well, Arsenal, I think.
They did play Manchester United.
Well, they didn't get through, though, did they?
Yeah, but they played Manchester United.
They didn't get through.
But we played Tamworth.
But they didn't get through. We're in the fourth round, and they're not.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
What are you not buying it? It's fact.
I know that is the fact, but I'm not buying that tweet. I know that is factual that they're out and we're through, but we played Tamworth. They played Manchester United.
Yeah, but we're through.
Yeah, great.
That's the main thing. That's all that matters.
James O'Mahony says, surely we're getting a centre-back if we're down to the bare bones. Yeah, Alfie Dorrington going on loan to Aberdeen.
Yeah, good loan for him. Get some minutes. Look, it's a weird one for Aberdeen because apparently they started the season brilliantly and now they're on a run of 1 winning 13. So apparently they've got a whole host of injuries at centre back, and hopefully Dorrington can help them get back to their best.
Sam Cornish, the magic of the FA Cup, Tamworth away. This guy's just got the best pictures.
Yeah, look at that brilliant picture, and Decky loving that goal that he scored. And I think that's it.
No, there's still a few
Is there
more.
more?
Ange Era, big Ange Era, with this tweet saying, for fuck's sake, why couldn't we just get Stoke City, talking about the FA Cup, and he just says, they just knocked out Man United, mate.
I know, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
THSC report, Archie Gray getting his boots, which we've been through, and Flav saying, how can Werner be out of his depth against Tamworth?
Literally. God, it's unbelievable, really, isn't it?
Lily White Rose says, oh boy, am I excited to watch my favourite team play. I'm going to kill myself. Nice, we won.
That's literally Spurs. Spurs all over.
And yeah, I think that's that. That is how the internet reacted to the game yesterday, the highs and the lows. And yeah, let's go into the update. Yeah. Going to get you a Tottenham transfer update very, very soon, guys.
Yeah, it's kind of gone a bit quiet on the transfer front, but let's hope there's some business to be done sooner rather than later.
Yeah. All right, you ready? All right, Tottenham update. Going to go into the last few days of Spurs transfer news, starting off with the news about Alfie Dorrington. And Dorrington is set to join SPL side Aberdeen on loan for the rest of the season. And on top of that, he has signed a long-term extension with the club before finalising the loan. And apparently he's already got a shirt number at Aberdeen, which is going to be Deadly King's very own 26.
Lovely. That's great for him. I didn't know he signed a contract on top of that as well. So that's really good news. Hopefully for the future, we've something to build on. Obviously he needs the game time. Ange said it before he was asked about Alfie in his press conference. He said, look, he's not had a lot of game time and he needs to be playing regularly. He had a serious injury last season, so he's going to look for a loan. They are very open about that. So look, maybe that was already clearly in the works before he even spoke. So really good for him. And Aberdeen were doing really well earlier in the season.
They were,
and
yeah.
Now they're not so much. So hopefully he can get them back on track. And it'll be just good for him to be. I know it's SPL, so the level's not so great, but I think just regularly playing them for a decent team like Aberdeen. Are they in Europe as well?
Are they in Europe? I'm not sure about Aberdeen being in Europe.
Aberdeen in Europe? If they are, that'll even be even more fantastic if you can get some European experience.
The reality is, though, with Aberdeen, right? No, they're not in Europe. But the reality is with Aberdeen,
they
right?
were in a title race at one point.
Yeah, I mean, very early on the season. I mean, the reality is with Aberdeen, it's a much higher level than he's ever played at before. So that's a big positive.
Yeah, so the regular game time should help him. So let's see how he gets on. And I know a lot of people are saying, we're so low on centre-backs, how can we be sending him on loan? But the reality is Davis is back soon, Romero's back soon, Van der Ven's back soon. So I can understand the need for a centre-back, but I don't understand the need to keep Alfie specifically.
Yeah. Look, apparently Davis is back. Apparently he's back in training yesterday or today, whenever the training session is. And we did hear over the past couple of weeks that he was always set to be back for the North London derby. So with Ben Davis being back, do you put him straight back in?
Great question. I'm not sure because Gray's playing so well. Do you take him out? Do you take Dragoshin out, put Gray right centre back, and maybe you do need Dragoshin's aerial ability for the corners?
Let's see if Dragoshin's fit, but
so it's a difficult one to call, to be honest. But I feel like probably our best shot is probably putting Davis back in. But then again, he was very close to coming back last time and re-injured himself. So do you want to rush him back? And that caused us problems. So I don't know if we did an update on it, but it looks like we got got a head of medical advertised and all these different jobs. Yeah. So clearly they're not happy with a lot of the things in the medical
should have happened a long time ago, mate. Should have happened a very long time ago.
I think apparently Ange did make some changes in the medical department when he took over.
Oh, did he?
That's what I read. So maybe he made some bad choices. I don't know about him, but there was medical changes come in when Ange came in. I don't know if Ange himself was the one who did the changes, but clearly we haven't been doing things right.
If he's completely ready to play Ben Davis, I would want to see probably. It's harsh, but I probably want to see him and Radu if they're both fit, because I feel like that both of those are most adept to dealing with the set pieces that Arsenal are going to throw at us.
Cooper, Gray midfield.
Yeah, potentially. It depends because you got basically it's between him, Basuma, and Bergvall for the 6.
Yeah, You can't put two 18-year-olds there, surely, in midfield. Surely. Mate,
Imagine we go and win there with two 18-year-olds in midfield.
That would be crazy.
Next up, Miguel Delaney says that Tottenham are interested in a loan for Marcus Rashford and have investigated on whether a deal may be possible. However, he is currently seen as most likely to go abroad. He has been rumoured to be speaking to the camps of AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund over the past couple of days. So maybe those two moves are more likely. But do you think Spurs have any sort of likelihood of getting Rashford in on the loan do?
I think Tottenham would be interested. I don't think Man United would be interested in giving us a cut price deal for him. And that's the only way we would get a Rashford over the line is if they pay a high portion of the wages in basically a Chelsea and Arsenal deal for Sterling-esque deal. That's the only way we would be interested, I think. And I don't think Man United, unless they're really desperate and no one's willing to take him, and that would probably be one literally deadline day if no one else in Europe is taking him kind of thing.
Where Rashford's head's at as well. If he really doesn't want to go outside of England, which we don't know at this moment in time. If he really doesn't want to go outside England, it's not like they could force him.
But that's one that I don't think. I think I'm going to give it every opportunity to sort out. So I think it would be a deadline day one if there was to ever happen. So I don't see it happening right now. I can definitely see Tottenham thinking a loan deal, a 6-month loan deal until the end of the season for a winger who could potentially fit the system in terms of what he can offer on the ball. Anyway, I'm not so sure off the ball, but on the ball, fast, good finisher. Could fill in on the left, could maybe fill in up front on occasion as well. Considering that we need help in the forward line, I think you could do a lot worse than Marcus Rashford on a 6-month loan. I don't see us committing to a long-term transfer. I definitely think it would be like, let's see how he does for 6 months, and if he's killing it and something we can really work with, then maybe we explore a more permanent thing. But I think right now, considering he's had injury problems, considering his attitude issues, I don't think it's one we consider for a obligation to buy or anything like that, and his wages as well on top of that. I just think there's too much working against this move for it to ever happen. But all I'm saying is on deadline day, if nothing's happened abroad and he's desperate to get out in Man United and they're saying, look, you know what, we'll pay 60% of his wages and we're willing to just get rid of him, I think Tottenham would put their ears up on that situation.
Yeah, I don't think a permanent deal could ever be done with Marcus Rashford and Spurs. I think only a loan move with Man United eating up a hefty amount of those wages, that's the only way that's a possibility. Even if he comes here and does really well for 6 months, I just can't see it turning into a permanent after that because of the wages he's going to command. I mean, he's on 325 grand a week.
Correct, but I think if Man United, similar to what we did with Adebayor, I remember when Adebayor came to Tottenham, even when it was permanent, City was still paying part of his wages, so it would have to be that kind of deal. Yeah. But the reality is right now we're a direct competition with Man United, we're a direct rival, so do they want to help us that much? I can't see them doing it. But then again, Chelsea did that with Arsenal, albeit you could argue whether they see themselves as direct rivals, but Chelsea did pretty much just give Arsenal a great deal because they were so desperate. So maybe if Man United, want to comply with FFP and they want to get players through the door, they might have to just get rid of him and do that deal. So depends how desperate they are, I guess. Yeah.
Next up, let's talk about Randal Kolo Muani. He is the name on everyone's lips at the moment. A few different people talking about it. David Ornstein says that Tottenham are currently the club most interested in signing Muani. The player is their top target for the versatile forward and they wish to sign him this month. Fabrice Hawkins says that Muani has not yet decided to prioritise a move to any particular club, contrary to reports. It's true that Juventus manager Thiago Motta especially are interested, but other clubs such as Tottenham are also in the race. La Stampa says that Juventus are in pole position to sign Muani. Talks with PSG are expected on Monday, which is obviously today, with a loan and purchase option of at least 60 million euros most likely. The striker seems to prefer Juve over other options. And Damasio says that Juventus are convinced that they are in pole position to sign Randal Kolo Muani. Juventus doing everything to find an agreement with PSG for Muani and beat the competition for his signature. So it seems as like reports from inside Italy are all claiming that Juventus are very much in pole position and Muani wants to join there. Reports coming from inside England just seem to be like it's anyone's game at the moment.
So I guess depends who you believe. Obviously, maybe they're ahead of the game in Italy. It might be the case. When it comes to Muani himself, obviously Juve are a massive club and it's hard to turn them down when a club like that comes looking for you. But I know it's a weird one with Motta at the moment. They're unbeaten, but they draw so many games.
12 draws.
And it works. I think a lot of them have been 0-0s, and Vlahovic has done well, but they have struggled sometimes to score goals. Does he want to enter an environment like that where it's not so geared to attacking, whereas he comes to Tottenham and he's...
I thought Thiago Motta's an attacking manager, though.
He was at Bologna, but it seems at Juventus it just hasn't quite been like that. He's been quite a few 0-0s since he's been there. So, I don't know. Like, if I'm Moani, look, Juve is obviously a big club, so if they come calling for you, maybe he sees like it's too hard to turn them down. But when you look at Tottenham, I know we're 12th at the moment, not doing very well, but obviously we're still in like the Europa League and these competitions. He's got a good chance. Did actually win it? He might have won the Europa League already with Glasner, but I think we're coming to a really attacking system, and it will suit him, and he'll get chances, and it's like a system geared towards the attackers. Whereas at Juventus, maybe it's not. So it's quite a decision to make. Maybe Juve can pay higher wages, but I would think it might be similar to what we can pay anyway. So
the pull of playing Champions League football might be the draw, though.
It might be that. I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion once Juve are in that we have no stake in the game, but obviously Juve have that bit of pull which we're still lacking.
Whether he decides whether it's Juve or Tottenham is not going to make a difference on the wages, because he's going to get the same wages regardless.
Yeah, I think we could offer pretty similar wages.
It doesn't matter, though, in terms of what Muani prefers, because it's only going to be a loan move, right? So the wages are going to be paid by Juventus regardless, by PSG regardless.
That's a fair point, unless there's obviously a permanent move, but yeah.
So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see. Is he more guaranteed more playing time at Juventus over Tottenham? Is the Champions League thing a bigger pull? Is that where his head's at the moment? Look, it's going to be interesting to see how this one progresses, but yeah, apparently it seems as though it's anyone's game at the moment. And last but not least, reports in Italy from Corriere del Mezzogiorno says that Antonio Conte wants Dejan Kulusevski to replace Kavica Kvaratskhelia at Napoli. Well, you can dream on, Mr. Antonio Conte. There's no chance this deal happens unless you bid pretty much north of 100 million.
Yeah, no chance we're selling Decky, and I don't think he'd want to go to Napoli, to be honest. As much as Napoli are top of the league and challenging, I think he enjoys playing under Ange. I also think if he goes to Napoli, he becomes a right winger again, and I think he enjoys playing more in the centre like he is at the moment, albeit he is playing a bit of time out the wing at the moment due to injuries and maybe lack of options. But obviously, I don't think Conte signs him to play midfield. He probably signs him to, as you say, could replace Kavica as a winger. And also, doesn't mean
it's a different style of winger than it is at Tottenham.
True, and he did very well under Conte. But Kavica played on the left, and Decky's more, if he's going to play on the wing, it's more on the right. So, I don't know. I don't see that happening.
Nah, never. But those are the reports at the moment. That is your Tottenham update. Let us know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all of those news stories. And let's finish off the stream.
Quickly, is the mic working? Because a lot of people are saying Ben's mic. I don't know, but a lot of people in the comments saying Ben's mic's not working. Yeah.
Testing.
Is Ben's mic all right, guys, in the chat?
Is my mic working?
People are saying it's fine.
It's fine. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on to predict the Prem. Another midweek schedule of Premier League action about to take place with the big games happening this midweek. You've got Nottingham Forest, Liverpool. You've got the big North London derby. So big games. So everyone knows how the scoring works by now. It's 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. And the star man, once you pick that man, you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. It's 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, and you can see the scores on the doors. 193 to myself, 172 to me, to Sim, and Sim's got a lot of making up to do this week.
I do.
But on game week 1, me and Sim made a bet, and if you don't remember, let's jog your memory.
I've got a little prediction. I reckon there's a chance that this season Moyes makes a return to Everton. What do you think about that?
Nah.
Why?
Dyche last the season. Dyche will keep them 13th or 14th in the league.
There's a bit of romanticism with Moyes in terms of him returning to Everton. And as well, think about what he did at West Ham. He took a team in a similar position to what Everton was and got them competing for Europe. So would they not see that and think, if he could do that for West Ham, why can't he do that for us?
Because didn't he have quite significant investment with West Ham?
He did in the last couple seasons, but to get them to Europe, I don't think it was that. What big signings did they have though when they won the Conference League?
Can't remember off the top of my head.
They had people like Rice already there, Antonio. Like, did they have big signings when they won the Conference League?
I mean, didn't they sign?
Bowen was fairly.
What's his name for quite a significant fee? Benarama from the Championship.
Yeah, but was he a main player for them? Yeah, I guess they did sign him, but like Bowen was from the Championship.
But Everton are struggling with money because of this stadium. I can't see Moyes going in there and making a massive impact.
But I can see them. I can see the appeal.
Maybe the appeal, but I don't think it works. First and foremost, I think Sean Dyche is a good fit for Everton. I think he had a good season there last year. If it wasn't for the points deduction, they would have stayed clear from relegation by some way. And one early season defeat to a really good Brighton side, who the standout performers in the first weekend of the Premier League, doesn't make me change my mind on that.
Look, Dyche is a good manager. He's good if you want to be in a relegation battle, and he's good to keep you up. I've just got a feeling if Everton want to get beyond that, it could bring in
they need
Moyes
investment.
Back to the answer.
They need investment.
They need investment as well. Obviously, Dyche knows how to work on a budget. I think Moyes knows how to work on a budget as well. He did it for years at Everton previously. So, I don't know. I've just got a feeling.
I can't see Moyes doing any better with this Everton side than what Sean Dyche is doing.
He might not, but I've got a feeling that Everton might be tempted by the fact that he's available now. And he's obviously an Everton legend. He did really well, West Ham.
You're always swinging the Sean Dyche out narrative. You did it last season as well.
I thought after the really poor start they had. And also, look, the football he plays is... I know Moyes doesn't play the best football as well, but Moyes' football can get you to European spots. I guess Dyche did get Europe for Burnley that one season. That's it. But Moyes has done it consistently a few times with Everton and with West Ham now. And obviously he did win the European competition. Look, if Moyes wasn't available, I don't think I'd be thinking this way. But I just think the fact that he is available...
I wouldn't say Moyes has done it consistently.
He has. How many times has he got European football with West Ham? 3 or 4 times now?
Twice, no?
Won the Conference League. He got to
and
Europa League
semi-finals.
semi-final.
And
last season he was in the quarter-final. Got lost to Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, so 3 times.
So 3 times. How many times did he get
But
to
the
Europe
West
with
Ham
Everton?
team was a lot better. A lot better. Everton and West Ham, how many years apart are they?
With Everton, when he was back in 2000 and whatever, how many years did he get Europe with them? Probably quite a lot. He has consistently gotten European football as a manager.
I think if they think Moyes is the answer, I think they're deluded.
They might do. I just got a feeling. I've got a prediction that if things do go bad with Dyche, I reckon they bring Moyes back.
I'll make you a bet live on stream right now. That's not going to happen.
What? They won't bring Moyes back?
Yeah.
All right. How much? What's the bet? Another costume.
Another costume bet.
All right. Another costume bet. What? By the end of the season?
Yeah.
Okay. By the end of the season, Moyes will be Everton manager.
Way harder, so it shouldn't be like that.
That's his prediction.
If you did it on Sky Bet, you'd make so much more money.
This ain't Sky Bet. This is live stream.
Come on. Haven't you realised you shouldn't be making costume bets against me yet? Come on, every time it goes against you. Big up, Moisey. Big up, Moisey. I was manifesting it by at the end.
Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Couldn't Jose get the job or something? Couldn't Jose get the job? Unbelievable.
Give it Moisey till the end of the season.
Unbelievable.
Come on, Moisey.
Unbelievable. Look, fair play. You got it right. It was an impressive prediction on game week 1 of the Premier League campaign.
I just had an epiphany on that. I was in the shower. I was thinking, I feel like Moyes is going to take over Everton.
Shame the rest of your epiphanies don't come true.
I predicted you would turn back to Anne Jin, and that's happened.
Spurs would be 5-time Premier League champions if all your epiphanies came true.
Yeah, it might still happen.
But yeah, big up. Well done, Sib. He gets it right. And I've got to wear this bloody costume.
Let's go.
Let's hope it manifests a nice Spurs win in this current game week. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the predictions. At least I'm winning by a hefty margin going into the second half of the season. First up is Brentford against Manchester City. We've both come to the same scoreline here.
Yeah, 2-2. I know Brentford of late haven't been at their best, and we know that they've got a lot of injuries at the back. I still feel like the way City play, you got Mbuemo, you got Wissa, you got those counter-attacking threats. I can really see them hurting Man City. But Man City definitely seem to have turned the corner a bit of late in terms of better performance level, getting De Bruyne back into the side, getting Haaland starting to score, and Savio starting to contribute as well. So I couldn't see Brentford beating them like some other teams have, but I also think City will still struggle here. So I went for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I feel like Brentford have been, they've lost their last 3 games at home after such an impressive start. Man City getting back to it, but I feel like this Brentford team have got the right tools to counteract this Man City side, and they're going to hurt them on the counter-attack with the likes of Mbeumo, Wissa, potentially even Sade as well, Damsgaard putting the strings. They definitely got the tools to hurt Man City, but again, I think Man City will control the possession and get a few goals themselves, so I couldn't really split it 2-2. Next up is Chelsea against Bournemouth. We've both gone for the same scoreline again in 2-1 to Chelsea. Bournemouth are struggling for forward options at the moment. Unal's injured. They've got Evan Nilsson out for a long time as well, so I don't know who they're going to start up front, and I think it's going to hurt them. Chelsea, on the other hand, have really been struggling of late, but I think they're going to just get over the line in a scrappy 2-1 win.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think, as you say, the injuries to the Bournemouth strikers is a massive blow to them. And I think if they had Evan Nilsson fit or Unal fit, or both of them, I would have maybe predicted to Bournemouth to get something. But without that firepower, I think they'll have a lot of chances, but maybe not the clinical edge to put them away. And I feel bad for them because that could derail their season a bit, those 2 strikers getting injured. So I went for Chelsea to get it 2-1. At home advantage as well. They haven't won in, 4 games, and they need to get back on track.
West Ham against Fulham in Graham Potter's first Premier League game against Marco Silva's Fulham. Sim's gone for 2-1 to West Ham.
Yeah, Potter's first home game, and I think there might be a bit of a new manager bounce. The shackles might be off them a bit, and I know Fulkrug got injured, but I think they still got. I know maybe Somerville might be out, but I actually think with Graham Potter, his attacking nature, they still got Kuda. Bowen's out as well. I didn't realise all these players are out. Bowen, Somerville might be out, Fulkrug's out, Antonio's out. So they do have a lot of firepower out, but I do think the way that Potter plays might get the best of some of their other attacking players in the front. They've still got Paquetá, they've still got Kudus that could really hurt this Fulham side. Fulham aren't on the best form of late, so I just feel like Potter at home in his first home game, they're going to get the win 2-1.
Yeah, I just can't see where the goals are coming from for West Ham. Like you say, so many attacking players out. Danny Ings looks like to be leading the line there. And they do have Mohamed Kudus, but, with the likes of Somerville, all the players that you just mentioned, all out, Jarrod Bowen, Fulkrug, Antonio, Somerville, I just can't see West Ham getting over the line in this game. And it's going to be a very difficult game against a Marco Silva team that's going to set up to frustrate this West Ham side, and they've got quality as well. So I've gone for 1-1. Next up is Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. Both gone for the exact same scoreline here, once again in 1-0 to Liverpool. I feel it's going to be a gritty display from both these sides, but I just feel like Liverpool just got the quality that they can just get over the line. Nottingham Forest has been super, super impressive, and I think they're going to stifle Liverpool quite a lot in this game, but Liverpool will just about do enough to win the game.
Yeah, I think this could be a massive game. If Forest win this game, then you really can't rule them out of challenging them, because they'll be 3 points behind all of a sudden. So it is a massive game in the context of the title race, but I just think Liverpool will shade it. There is this one Forest fan that every time we make a video, he always comments on our video saying, Sim never predicts Forest to get a result. He always predicts Forest to drop points, because I'm always predicting Forest will eventually start to stumble. So apologies to that Forest fan, because I am predicting another loss for Forest in this one. But I think it will be a really tight game. Going to the City ground, it couldn't get much bigger for Liverpool in this one. And considering their recent stumbles, there is a case to say that Forest can get something out of this game for sure. But I'm just going for that little bit of quality to show here. So I've gone for 1-0 to Liverpool.
To be fair, Forest did go to Anfield and win, didn't they?
They did.
So can they do the double over Liverpool this season? It's a massive game. But either way, let's move on to Everton against Aston Villa. It's David Moyes' first game in charge for Everton, and we've both gone for Everton wins. I've gone for 2-1, Tim's gone for 1-0.
Yeah, at Goodison Park, it's Moyes' first game in charge. I think there'll be a feel-good factor at Goodison Park with a returning hero to Goodison. I think it has been a bit of a popular appointment from what I've seen, albeit a slightly mixed reaction, but I do think majority has been quite positive. He's given a 2.5 year deal as well, which is much longer than most people probably expected him to be getting. So it looks like he's going to be there for the long term at least. And I do think David Moyes is the right appointment. Sean Dyche, look, as much as he's done well to keep them up over the last couple of years. The reality is they've not scored in 8 of their last 10 games, and that's just not good enough for a team like Everton. And you could say their team's not good enough, but they've got some good strikers, they've got some good players there, and they should not be in a situation where they're not scoring in 8 of their last 10. So I think a change was needed, and I think Moyes is the perfect guy for now. I didn't think bringing a progressive manager while they're down at the bottom is the right call, because they could risk going down. So I do think Moyes was the guy to really make sure they stay up, and also someone to build with, because as I said in that prediction, he is a manager who does get European football. He can build a club from this kind of position to getting challenging in the top half. So I think that's the aim for him at Everton, and new owners as well there. So I think could be an exciting future for them. So I went for Everton win here, and I think that Moyes is a good appointment as well.
Yeah, I think Deitch, they should have kept with Deitch, man. They definitely should have kept with Deitch. And now they've gone for Moyes. It's going to be the worst decision that they've ever made. The worst decision that they've ever made. And they're going to go down now with David Moyes at the helm. They really, I'm telling you now, they're going to go down. Oh, you want to make another bet that they're going to go down with David? I'm joking.
Let's do it.
But no, I think they're going to get off to winning ways under David Moyes. I think it's going to be a good atmosphere at Goodison Park. They've given Moyes the respect to lead them into the new stadium as well last season at Goodison. And yeah, Villa have just been very hit and miss this season, and I feel like Everton will stifle them for the most part and get a couple of goals, albeit who's going to start up front, do you reckon, for Everton? Do you reckon he's going to go back to Calvert-Lewin? Is it going to be
I don't know if Calvert-Lewin's injured, because I know Beto's been playing. Broja got an injury as well. I'm not sure who's. I don't know if he's fit. I'm not sure. Maybe it might have to be Beto.
No, I think he's fit, Calvert-Lewin.
If he's fit, I think he goes with Calvert-Lewin. Yeah,
because he's tried and tested it. Didn't he bring him through? Did he bring him through at Everton?
No, I think it was. He's 50% chance, it says here.
Okay.
So he's 50. Broja's injured. Beto, there were talks of them of them getting rid of him, but might have to go with him.
Anyway, we've both gone for Everton wins. Next up is Leicester against Crystal Palace. Tim's gone for 1-1. I've gone for 3-1 to Palace. And with the way Leicester like to play, I feel like Palace can really catch them out here on the counter-attack with the likes of Mateta, Eze, Sarr. And I feel like there could be quite a few goals in here for Crystal Palace against the Leicester side, who's going to look to dominate.
Yeah, I think Palace will dominate in a weird way, I think. And I think Palace know how Leicester like to play, but I do think Ruud in the last few performances has been a bit better than they showed in the his earlier performances, and maybe he's starting to figure things out, albeit they are still on a run of like 6 consecutive losses, so it's not good at all. I just feel like he might get his first no, it's not his first point, because he beat West Ham and he got a draw against Brighton, but his first point since his first 2 games. So I went for a draw here in what could be quite a tight game.
Next up is Newcastle against Wolves. Both of us gone for Newcastle wins. The team in form at the moment. I've gone for 2-0. Sim's gone for 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 to Newcastle. I think Newcastle on an unbelievable form. I think 6 wins in all competitions in a row, 5 wins in the league, or maybe 7 wins in all competitions and 6 in the league, I think it is actually. They're just in mad form. But Wolves, I think, have been a bit better since they changed their manager, albeit they did lose 3-0 in the last game. But I think the performances have been slightly better. So I do feel like maybe they could give Newcastle a bit of create a few chances and maybe get a goal, albeit Cunha's still out. But I think Newcastle will get over the line.
Cunha's back.
Form. Is he back?
He's back. He's had 2 games, yeah.
So I think he'll get the goal then. But I think Newcastle should be too good for them. I think Isaac and Gordon are in too good a form. And the momentum's with them, so I see them getting over the line.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a routine win for Newcastle. The form is just undeniable. They're scoring a lot of goals. They're not really conceding many either. And at St James's Park, they're such a hard nut to crack. So as much as Wolves might give a good account of themselves, I just can't see anything but a resounding Newcastle win. So I've gone for 2-0. Now it is the North London derby prediction. Arsenal get Tottenham at the Emirates. Sim has gone for 2-2. I have gone for Spurs to win the game by 3-2. I'm just looking at the way Arsenal are playing at the moment. They can't seem to create anything apart from chances from set pieces. And look, Spurs can very much come under pressure from set pieces, and I feel like that's the way that Arsenal are going to get the goals. But I'm looking at the way Spurs can play. And I feel like we can give Arsenal a torrid time here. As much as we've got injuries, they've got injuries. It's like a team with no defenders going up a team with no attackers. It's going to be an interesting game to call. But I've just got a bit of a feeling that Spurs can go there and upset the odds and win the game.
I think Tottenham could definitely. I think it's going to be a good game, and I think Tottenham can go there and do something. I mean, getting a win at the Emirates for the first time in 12 years or wherever it's been, 14 years, is it? It's going to be a tall order with the backline we're probably going to go there with. So I still think we're going to concede goals, even albeit Arsenal are struggling up front. I think the set piece is going to be a big thing. I think maybe Havertz might make up for some of his misses over the last 2 games in this one. But I also think Tottenham could take advantage of what's been quite a disjointed Arsenal over the last few weeks. And I think even defensively, two against Newcastle, they conceded a few chances against United. Brighton, they conceded a few chances as well. So I do think Tottenham definitely go to the Emirates and create some chances themselves. And the last time we went to the Emirates, we drew 2-2 last year in what was a good performance. So I do see us creating some chances and putting under pressure. I just can't see us getting the win. So I went for a 2-2 draw here.
I just feel like there's bad feelings at both clubs, really, but I just feel like the tide is really turning at Arsenal, and there seems to be a bit of a toxic atmosphere there at the moment. And I feel like if we go 1-0 up early, I think that will really, that will really stand us in good stead. I think the first goal is really important in this game, because if Arsenal go 1-0 up, they're just going to sit deep and shut up shop, and it's going to be hard for us to break them down. But if we score early, then it's going to create a bit of a carnage game, I think.
Yeah, it should be a really good game of football, a lot on the line.
Next up is Ipswich against Brighton. Sim's gone for 2-0 2-0 to Ipswich. I've gone for 2-2.
Yeah, Ipswich actually early in the season got a 0-0 draw at the Amex in what was quite an impressive display, and I think they've definitely turned their performances and results turning around anyway. Their last home game was against Chelsea, and was a very impressive 2-0 victory. And I see them getting a bit of joy here as well. I do think they're going to put up a really good fight in the relegation battle, albeit it still could be too much for them. But I think in this game against a Brighton team who do tend to struggle against the lower sides, I think they've not beaten any of the teams in the bottom 4, I think, this season. So definitely struggle against teams who sit back, and I think Ipswich are going to do that. And I think Liam Delap is more than good enough to exploit their backline, and Hutchinson as well is playing quite well recently. So I've gone for a 2-0 win for Ipswich.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-2. Ipswich are playing well at the moment. Brighton not so much. Can't seem to get any sort of results over the line, but I feel they are drawing a lot of games, and an Ipswich side that will concede quite a few chances to a strong Brighton attack. I feel like I couldn't really split the sides. It'll be a really interesting attacking game of football with goals at both ends, so I've gone for 2-2. Next up is Manchester United against Southampton. Both of us have gone for the same scoreline here, 2-0 to Manchester United. Is the tide turning for Man United at the moment? They've just had positive performances and results against Liverpool and against Arsenal. Now it's to see if they can do it against the so-called lesser sides in the Premier League, which they haven't seemed to have done since Ruben Amorim have come into Manchester United. But I think they will get the win over the line, so I've gone for 2-0.
Yeah, so they need to win this game, and they're obviously in the league. They are dropping like a stone at the moment with some of their results, losing way too often. Albeit they did obviously get a draw at Anfield, so that will give them a confidence boost. And going through in the FA Cup was a brilliant result performance, but did the game suit them a bit more than maybe against a side like Southampton? That's why I've only gone for 2-0. I don't think it's going to be a battering. I think Southampton will have their moments, but I can't see Southampton getting anything here, and I think United should comfortably see over the line. I just don't think Southampton have the quality at the end of the day, so I've gone for 2-0 to Man United.
And last but not least, the star men. Sim has gone for Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno, he's been brilliant last 2 games. Scored a great goal at the Emirates, and I thought was a brilliant Anfield in the draw against Liverpool. I think if they're going to turn their all form around, he's going to be the talisman. So I've gone for Bruno for my star man here.
And I've gone for Ismaila Sarr of Crystal Palace against Leicester at the King Power. I feel like Crystal Palace's counter-attacking threat could come into use in this game, and Ismaila Sarr has been pretty good this season, albeit he hasn't got consistent goal contributions, but when Palace play well, he usually is at the heart of things. So I've gone for Ismaila Sarr, and that is that. Those are our predictions going into game week. What is it? Game week 21? Something like that.
This is game week 21, yeah.
Yeah, game week 21 of the Premier League. Let us know your predictions in the comment section below. Who is going to come out on top, me or Sim? And that is it from us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow for North London Derby previews, people. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.